Okay, today we are going to talk about character motivation. We've been talking about indirect characterization all week. Remember, direct characterization is when the author tells us something literally about a character, like their hair was brown or they were angry. Today we are going to talk about the inferences that we have to make about characters, and we're going to talk about what motivates a character to act like they act. So, understanding a character's motivations. This is our first slide. Understanding a character's motivations, why they do whatever it is they do, helps us understand more about the kind of person that they are. When thinking about a character, don't just stop at what they say, do, or think. Think about why they say, do, or think it. So sometimes when you're reading a story, you might, a couple pages later, or you might, 500 pages later, find out a motivation. Like the author might just end up actually telling you why the character did what they did, but it's not really very likely. Most likely you're going to have to infer why they behave like they behave. Okay. So inference, I have put a link to it here just in case you need a reminder on what that means. Inference is when we get clues from the text or clues from our surroundings that let us know what's going on. Okay. For example, they give an example here. If you see your mom's bag on the table, you might infer that she's home. So you come home from school and you see mom's bag sitting there on the table and okay, I don't see mom. I don't hear mom. I don't smell mom. Okay. And you also know that when there's a purse on the table, her keys are in that purse and her wallet's in that purse. Everything she needs when she leaves the house is in that purse. So you can make the logical connection that if that purse is there, mom is also there. Okay. So think about a few scenarios here and how you might interpret these scenarios. If you walk in the door after school and you're grown up, mom, auntie, granny, dad, uncle, whoever, okay, you walk in the door after school and your grown up runs up to you in tears and gives you a big bear hug, what might that mean? It's going to depend upon the clues around you. It's going to depend upon what happened before you walked in the door. Maybe mom just got a phone call saying that somebody's passed away or that somebody was in a terrible accident and she is just devastated and she just needs somebody to hug. Okay, that could be one reason for it. Or it could be something completely different. Maybe, dad's been unemployed for the past 3 months and he just got a new job and he's so happy and relieved that he has tears of joy in his eyes. Or maybe your teacher called home and said that you're like the most fantastic student ever in the history of your school. And they're just so proud of you that they want to give you a big hug. Okay. You're going to have to look at the clues around you and make inferences. Why are they behaving like they're behaving? If you casually ask your sister if you can borrow her pencil and she turns around and starts screaming at you, why might she be doing that? Okay, so how old is your sister? If she's like in the 8th grade and she's going through all those 8th grade girl things, 8th grade girls can be kind of extra. Maybe she's just upset all the time. And there's something else that upset her. She got some social media post that made her upset, or somebody's bullying her and she's just in a bad mood and she's taking it out on you. Or maybe you keep borrowing her stuff and not giving it back, or you keep borrowing her stuff and wrecking it. And so she's mad at you and she's like, screw you. I'm not letting you borrow anything anymore. I hate you. Okay. And hopefully she doesn't really hate you, but that's what siblings say to each other, right? So, there could be multiple reasons for her behavior, and you have to determine what those reasons are based on your context. If you tell your neighbor that his yard looks really lovely today, and he stands up a little taller, and gets a huge smile on his face, why might he have reacted that way? Maybe he was out in the yard for 4 or 5 hours today working really, really hard, and he's just so proud that somebody noticed his hard work. Okay, so those are all inferences. We take what we know from our surroundings and we ask ourselves, why is this person behaving this way? So basically, you're almost never going to have a character literally say to you in a movie or in a book, oh, well, this is why I did this. This is why I acted like this, or this is why I said this. That is probably not going to happen. So what you have to do is pick up clues from the rest of the text and try to make inferences about what that behavior means. So my analogy is it's like being a psychologist or a therapist. You look at what somebody's doing. You look at what their experiences were in the past, what their experiences and circumstances are now, and you make educated guesses about why they're behaving like they are or why their personality is the way it is. For example, if you have a patient and they are excessively afraid of dogs, and every time they see a dog, they tense up and get all excited, scared. Maybe in the past they got mauled by a dog when they were a little kid, and that would make sense. That would be why they have an unnaturally negative reaction to just seeing a cute little puppy. Okay. So think about it kind of like playing the therapist. So let's take what we know and let's apply it to a movie clip. This is from the Batman Begins movie, and it is one of the origins stories from Batman's, past. His family's last name is Wayne. You may or may not know that Batman's real name is Bruce Wayne. So here in this film clip, we have his parents and him, and let's watch this video and ask ourselves some questions. If for some reason you cannot watch this video here on your own computer, please just click here. I put a link to a safe YouTube version of it.
Did you build this train?
Gotham's been good to our family, but the city's been suffering. People less fortunate than us have been enduring very hard times. So we built a new, cheap public transportation system to unite the city. And at the center, Wayne Tower.
Is that where you work?
No, I work at the hospital. I leave the running of our company in a much better man.
Better?
Wow. More interested man.
Okay, so our first question here is, why does the father donate money for the city to build things? He says why. Basically, he says Gotham has been good to them, but he doesn't specifically say in what way. He says that the city's suffering and it needs help. He points to that giant tower with his name on it, which, indicates to us, even though he doesn't come out and say it, that number one, the guy's got boatloads of money. Tons of money. Nobody has their name on a giant tower in the middle of a city if they are not loaded, right? So what we can infer from this about the dad's character is that he is a really generous person and that he wants to help make the world a better place by giving back to the community that he believes helped build him. Okay? So his motivation, he wants to make the world a better place. Let's keep watching.
What's wrong?
No, it was me. I just needed some fresh air. A little bit of opera, a long way. Right, Bruce? Come on. Let's go.
All right, so our next question here is, why does the father lie about his reason for leaving the opera early? What can we infer from this? What's his motivation? So we see that young Bruce Wayne is actually really, really terrified by the opera that he's watching. And we know also probably part of the reason he becomes Batman is because the opera involves a bunch of bats, but that's another story for another day. Okay, that's predictions. So when we ask ourselves, why does the father lie? What we have to consider is, okay, he just doesn't want to embarrass his kid, right? It's not like he comes out and says, well, honey, I don't want to embarrass little Bruce here, but he's terrified of the fake bats. Okay. He's covering for his kid. All right. So let's continue on with the rest of the film clip.
Let's go. Walt, George, that's fine. Take it easy. Take it easy. Here you go. It's fine. It's fine. Now just take it and go. So, George.
All right. So our third question here, why? Why? What's the motivation for that thief? Why does he shoot the parents even though he got exactly what he wanted? Okay, you see Dad Bruce Wayne here, and he's just like, hey, I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected. I have grace under pressure. Here, take my wallet. I don't care. But for some reason, the thief shoots both the parents anyway. Why would he do that? Okay, I can guarantee you that you're never going to find out the real reason for that answer, but we can infer some things. We can infer that the dude is just terrified. Okay, he's probably so afraid that he just becomes trigger happy and shoots. And once he shoots one adult, he ends up shooting the other adult because now it's like, oh my God, there's a witness and now I've got to run. So why? Motivations. Let's finish watching the clip and take a look at our last question. All right, so how does the boy react at the end of the film clip and why? I'm going to let you guys think about that one on your own. Okay? So here's our activity. I want you to choose a character from the book that you're reading independently, just like I've been having you do all week. I want you to go claim a slide. Okay, there's a bunch of slides here. Claim one, put your name on it. Only touch your own slide. Put your full name, please, first and last names. I have a couple of people with the same name, and I need to know which person is which. On your slide, you're going to write your name in here, write the title of the book you're reading, and the name of the character that you are discussing. I want you to fill out the slide completely, making sure that you write in complete sentences and give specific reasons and evidence from the text. That means that you are actually going to the book and you are saying, well, in the book, this particular thing is written, this particular thing is said, this particular thing happens. And you are writing in complete sentences and you are giving complete answers with evidence. When you've finished, using the comment function, and again, you know, that's this little guy up here, okay? Using the comment function, I want you to respond to what another student is reading, make at least one productive and meaningful comment on that student's slide. So it has to be a complete sentence. It has to actually say something other than wow, or cool, or good job, okay? It has to be, wow, I find this really interesting because, or hey, I've read that book too, and I think that maybe this character acted this way because blah, blah, blah. All right, so one productive and meaningful comment. Finally, when you hit the turn in button for this assignment, please hit the turn in button. That is my signal that you are finished and I need to come check your work. If you don't get a grade, it might be because you didn't hit the turn in button. But please don't hit turn in if you have not actually finished. Again, as I said before, oldest trick in the book, just because you hit turn in does not mean I'm giving you credit. All right. This is also a 15-point classwork assignment, so it is weighted at 50% of your grade, not participation, which is weighted less. It's only 20% of your grade, so please put some serious thought into this and some work. The questions on your slide. I give you prompts. This says, something the character did that leaves me wondering why is, so you're going to write down what exactly did that character do or say that makes you wonder about their motivation. Why did they do that? Why did they say that? 2, when I think about why I think the character acts this way, maybe because, and I say maybe because we're making an inference. We don't necessarily know for sure. So you're going to list your reasons for why you think they behaved that way or did that thing or said that thing or thought that thing or felt that thing. And then finally, you're going to list some clues about why that can be found in the text. So this is where you're going to give me your textual evidence. You know, this happened, and that happened. And I think that because of all of these things, that is why that character was motivated to say, do, think, or feel. All right. Again, when you're finished, make sure you hit turn in. Make sure you're not messing with anybody else's slides. And if you have any questions, use one of the ways to contact me that you know is available. Feel free to crowdsource with each other, discuss through Google Meets, discuss through Google Chat, do whatever you have to do. And you guys have a great rest of your day.